What's the good word, y'all? Welcome to the New York Jets Syndicate channel. It's your boy DKB here, and there's been a lot of breaking news today, right? Free agency is just around the corner, kicking off on Wednesday. The legal tampering period begins Monday, and the New York Jets have officially begun making moves to kind of prep for that. We've seen Braxton Berrios get cut. We've seen the New York Jets trade for safety Chuck Clark from the Ravens. But the biggest news is probably from Diana Rossini, NFL insider, earlier today that mentioned Woody Johnson has a high level of optimism that a deal with quarterback Aaron Rodgers from the Packers gets done soon. And to be honest, I think what the New York Jets need to do is give a trade deadline of Friday for a deal to get done with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, at this point, you're looking at the beginnings of what a lot of people can be concerned about over the course of the entire season, right? The I don't want to say inconsistency, but the inability for him to be decisive about what his future looks like. Granted, it is a huge decision, but you know the kind of schedule and timeline that the NFL is working on after spending almost 2 decades in the league. So we want to know potentially what kind of plans we are officially setting up when it comes to acquiring free agents to help fill some gaps in not only our offense, but there's defensive pieces we want to upgrade, hence the trade for Chuck Clark. And we need to know what we're doing at the most important position. If Aaron Rodgers is going to be our guy, then perfect. We can feel comfortable with some of the weapons that we have now: Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore. Granted, there can still be a cut or a potential trade there, but you'd have to feel good about the quality of the weaponry that we would surround an Aaron Rodgers with, who has the potential to elevate them to even further heights, right? We're talking about an 1,100 plus yard season from Garrett Wilson. He's playing with four quarterbacks that nobody is starting, not only in the league, but, in fantasy. I don't think you'd have him as a backup quarterback. So, that is kind of the beginning and the end piece for me when it comes to any news that comes out between now and the next 24 hours. The trade deadline needs to be Friday. If we can't get a deal done with Aaron Rodgers by then, we need to just wash our hands of the situation unless we get some kind of amazing discount and he comes back Monday and says, hey, look, I made a decision. Here's what it is. And we can fleece the Packers for a great deal for ourselves. Other than that, we need to pack our bags and move on, right? We can't be hamstrung by Aaron Rodgers, and we're not going to be able to go out and sign a high quality wide receiver to replace a Corey Davis if we cut him, or to just add to the room. Braxton Berrios will be a little bit of an easier replacement, but still, I think there are a lot of safe options that are still out there. We talked about it on my Jets Flight Squad podcast. There are a numerous amount of tier B and tier C guys that you can feel would still help elevate this team. There's a lot of names that are still left out there that could be interesting. I know Geno Smith has signed, Daniel Jones has signed, so we're talking about those guys being off the board. Rob Carthen, I think the GM's name from the Titans, has spoken about Tannehill not being available, but he could always potentially be another solid option for us. Jimmy G is still out there. We're talking about Jameis Winston potentially becoming available soon. Marcus Mariota is out there. So there are a lot of guys. We even feel comfortable with somebody like a Jacoby Brissett. He's not going to break the mold at the quarterback position, but he is one of the most play safe options in terms of not hindering an offense with turnovers and dumb mistakes that you'll find out there. So ultimately, I say all of that to recap and say, I believe a trade deadline for Friday should be set to get a deal done with Aaron Rodgers. If it does not get done, the New York Jets need to immediately go into crisis mode and spend that first day of the legal tampering period on Monday, prioritizing who their quarterback is going to be. And in a situation like that, I think that allows a much better opportunity for a guy like Zach Wilson, who we've already said we're committed to not be stuck behind a guy that could potentially lead an offense, excuse me, for the next 3, 4, 5 years and still give him a chance on his rookie contract to prove that the New York Jets did find their quarterback of the future. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on issuing a trade deadline to Aaron Rodgers of Friday. Would you spend as long as it takes to acquire him, or do we need to kind of set some kind of priorities and boundaries in place so that we have a certain level of respect that's going to continue between the organization and Aaron Rodgers as the season progresses? So let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I'll catch you again. Peace.